Alright guys, how's it going? I hope you're doing very well. Another very quick Blender Octane tutorial for you today, and essentially using the baking texture node. Now, what this does is it changes a procedural into something that's usable, for example, the displacement. So just to give you a working example, I'll just zoom in a little bit here. I have the rain bump node, it goes into a baking texture node, and then this goes into displacement. So essentially I'm turning this procedural into something usable, and you get these cool results, something like this. So I'm going to start this over from the beginning just to give you some working examples. So I'll go to File, New, Octane Default Startup, and we'll just swap out the default cube in traditional fashion. We'll delete it, and we'll just add in something like a plane. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add in a new material, so I can go to New, and we'll just keep it the universal material, and I'll show you one of the procedurals that comes inbuilt with Blender, and that's the rain bump. So we can search for rain, and I'll just plug this into the albedo just to show you what's actually happening. So let's quickly check it out. So you can see here it does like raindrops hitting water. It's pretty cool. If you move the time evolution, you get this. So a lot of you might think, okay, we'll just put this into displacement. It's already black and white. So let's add a displacement. So we'll do a texture displacement, and we'll put this into the displacement of the universal material. So something like this. We'll take the texture and we'll plug it into the input, and you're thinking, yeah, let's put the height up. So nothing is actually working, and this is where the baking texture comes in handy. So what I'm going to do is I'll drop down a bake texture, and we'll just drop it in between, and we'll have the texture here, and now the levels are up way too high. So cool, we're getting this nice looking effect, and if we move the timeline, excellent. But what you'll notice here is the resolution's pretty bad. You're getting a lot of stepping, and there's a few things we can do to fix this. So what we can do is we can change the resolution. So I'm going to times this by 4. So 4096 and 4096 again. And nothing will be seen here, and that's because of the texture displacement. If I actually change this to 4096, you'll start to see we get nice smoothing, but we're still getting this kind of voxelization, and that's because of the filter type, the filter radius. Now you can push this value up, but unless you actually change it to some sort of blurring, so we'll just go for box blurring, and there we go, we get nice smooth displacement. That's pretty cool. Now obviously we can put the baking resolution up, and we can put the level of detail up, and things like the texture type. So LDR is technically 8-bit, and I think HDR is high dynamic range, so I think that's 32-bit. And as you can see here, we have RGB baking. So what does this mean? Well, we're using the rain bump, and that's black and white. But what we can drop down is maybe another procedural. So we'll go to procedural effects, and I'll just show you this as well while I'm here. And I'll just put the texture into the albedo so we can see what's going on. And we'll quickly take the displacement off. So as you can see, this actually has RGB values, and if we put the time, you get this really nice effect. We can plug this back into the baking texture, and we can plug this into the texture here, and you still get the effect, but if you enable RGB baking, it should be a little bit better. The values should actually match up, and of course we're getting a little bit of blurring here. Let's put this up. Very cool. And then we can play around with the time. And that is pretty much it. That is the baking texture. Of course you have options like UV transform projection, but any questions, you know what to do. Take care.